Hey, what's up, guys? This is Nick with Indie and today I will be telling you more about actions and maybe a little bit of drag and drop programming for GameMaker 8.0 Pro. So, first thing we want to do is add in some sprites, or maybe just one sprite. I already have the sprite here selected, so just click OK. You can choose anything you want, it doesn't matter. And you can name him if you want. Something like SPR man, and go down to object and create a new one, obj man, and then set the sprite. Okay, so we have the basic of the man set up. He's visible, he has a sprite, so we're on a good path here. Now maybe you want to make him move. This is where events come in. Click the button here to add an event, and this list comes up. Now, every one of these events do something different, and you're going to have to learn exactly what they do to program a game. So let's go with a few basic ones to get you started. The create event here. When you pick that, then whatever code you put in that event, it executes once, only when the object is created, hence the name create. The step event, however, is a little bit different. It's a loop. Maybe you've programmed in other languages and you've used loops before. In the step event, whatever code you have in it, it will constantly loop around until the object is destroyed, like every millisecond. So say you want to have a score incremented by 1 for every millisecond that this object is created, you would go into the step event and then add that score plus 1. Okay, so it's just a loop basically. And key press, that's for when you press a key down, then the code is executed. Key release is the right opposite. When the key is released, it executes the code. Keyboard is what people use more often. It's for when the key is being pressed down, then it'll execute the code until that key is released. So for movement, we want to use keyboard. So you have all these things here: keypad, digits, letters, no key, any key, everything like that, you know. So for basic movement, we'll just use left. This is for the arrow keys on your keyboard. Now, if you wanted to use something for ASD, AWD, all those, you know, you could go into keyboard and use letters here and add them in that way. It works exactly the same, so that's how you would do that. Now, a lot of people, when they're first creating a game, they'll use this little icon here. And what you do is you click it, and then you drag it over to this blank area here, and release. And that creates an action for this event. A lot of people use this action in their beginning games because it's usually the first thing they're told to use. You can click any arrow in the direction that you want him to move. So since this is left, you would click the left one, and then you would set a speed of, say, 4. And then you would click OK or Enter. But if you use this method, there's a problem. When you release the left key, he does keep moving. So, because that's how this action works. So what you would have to do is you would have to add in another event for key release left. And then use this again, except set it to the middle here, the little square, and speed of 0. That would allow him to stop moving once you release the left key. But to save space in the events and be more organized, I really never use that method, because I find this method much easier once you actually learn it, you know. So go into delete this start moving in direction right here by right clicking and delete. Okay, now go down here to jump. This little icon here with the 2 X's and the arrow. Jump to position. Drag it the same way. Okay, now you have X and Y. So you want him to move left. So you would go into the X here and set it to -4. Minus is for in the x-axis, then minus is to the left. If you want him to go to the right, it would just be regular 4. Okay, so do -4. And pick relative. It has to be relative for this. So click OK. Now he can move to the left, and as soon as you let off of the left key, he'll automatically stop moving. So duplicate that and use keyboard right. Now go into this, double click it, and change it to, like I said earlier, 4. It doesn't require a minus, plus, or anything like that. It's just 4. Now duplicate that again, and keyboard up. Now we're going to set this to 0, and go down to the y-axis and change that to -4. In the y-axis, minus is up, and just a regular number is down. So click OK. And duplicate that, keyboard down, and change this to regular 4. So your character can now move. It's just basic movement, nothing special, you know, but it's something you're gonna have to do for pretty much every game, so it's very important that you learn how to do this. So that is the basic events for the create event and step event and keyboards. That's what you've learned so far. So let's go into the create and add something in here to show you how this works. Let's go down to let me find it here, and display message. Drag and drop that, and the message that you want to display. Maybe hello world. Okay, so you have the display message. If you put this in the step event, you're gonna have kind of a problem, because you have to click OK for this. When it pops up in the game, you have to click OK, and if you have it in the step event, as soon as you click OK, it pops up again. So it's kind of hard. You might even have to use the task manager to actually exit the game. So you want to be careful what you put in the step event, because it can freeze your computer and cause a bunch of problems like that. So click OK for that, and go into the rooms, create a new room, and place him anywhere you want, say somewhere close to the center, and click the check mark. Okay, we can now run our game with this green arrow. Give it a minute to load. Okay, so we have our message here, hello world. You can click OK or hit enter. I think space might even work. And then you have your character, and you can use the arrow keys to move him around, you know, like this. So, and as soon as you let off, then he stops. So that's very good. Now there's a lot of things that I can go over in this, because you have categories like the move, jump, paths, steps, and so many different tabs of things that you can go through. It's just a lot for video tutorials. So what I would suggest to do is maybe go to the GameMaker community. I'll post a link in the description for that, and you can find a bunch of tutorials there, or you can watch some of my other videos to find to do certain things. But the biggest thing you can do to help yourself learn this is experiment. You don't have to create a game out of it. You can just go in and use certain actions just to experiment and see what exactly it does. You know, you can even go into the help file and read up on it a little bit, and that might help you out too. But that is pretty much it for this tutorial. You learn about create, keyboards, and how to move your character and display a message. In the next tutorial, I might go into the actual programming language called GML. It's a lot more complicated, but I think that it's better to use than just drag and drop. So that's all for this tutorial. I hope you learned something new, and see you next time.